Okay, here goes example 2. What makes it slightly more difficult is the math's more difficult due to the negative 2x squared term. And because a is negative, instead of opening upward, this graph is going to open downward like that. And that negative 2 is going to make it pretty skinny, okay, like that. Instead of nice and wide, it's going to be kind of skinny. Okay, here we go. I've already written down what the A, B, and C are to save a little bit of time. A is -2, B is 8, C is -5. A, B, and C. First, you find the line of symmetry. I'm going to plug in 8 for B, and I'm going to plug in -2 for A. I'm going to put 8 right there. I'm going to put -2 right there. The negative sign out front switches that to a -8. Multiply that, you get -4. Divide, you get +2. The line of symmetry is x equals +2. Okay, so that is my line of symmetry. I know my parabola is going to fold over that line. But more importantly is the vertex has to be on the line of symmetry. So the vertex has to have x equals 2 in it. Okay, so I'm going to use x equals 2, and I'm going to plug it in right there. Again, that's all the shortcut is saving you. The shortcut is saving you from having to plug in a bunch of values of x and eventually find out where it curves. We know the only value we have to plug in is x equals 2. Okay, be careful of the math. If I put a 2 there, I square it first. That was a mistake being made earlier in the week. And that gives me -8 for that term. I put in a 2 for x there, and that gives me +16. And we have our constant of -5. So y equals -13, and +16 is +3. So our vertex is x equals 2, y equals 3. That is our vertex. Okay, so at 2, 3, that is my change of direction point. That is the most important point on a parabola. Okay, that's what the first 2 steps are telling you in the shortcut. Use -b over 2a to find the x value we're going to use. That's the x value we're going to plug into the function to find the y value. Together, that x and y create the vertex. And now, step 3. The a value, which in this case is -2, make a fraction out of it. Remember, you put a whole number over 1. And that means we're going to go down 2. Negative means down 2, just like in slope. We're going to go down 2 over 1. Okay? So from here, I'm going to go down 2 over 1 and make a dot. Okay? Now again, on the computer next week when we do this, that's the only 2 points you need, and the Pearson will draw the graph for you. By hand, I want you to use symmetry and go ahead, and if it's down 2 over 1 here, then because of symmetry, it's going to go through that point right there, so we kind of draw it over here also. Okay? So all that -2 does is tell me the graph's going to go downward, and it's skinnier instead of down 1 over 1, which would make it wider. Okay, over here more, going through that point. Instead, it goes through that point. Okay, and then use symmetry to get that point. Now, this is an example where, use symmetry to get a third point. Use symmetry to get a third point, and this is where step 5 isn't too bad. Since C is -5, we can kind of verify this, that, hey, right there is another point, and notice I have a pretty good graph where it looks like it is going to come down and cross through the -5. And if you want to get really specific, it would also do the same thing over here because of symmetry. Okay, but again, those are the 3 main points right there. That's what I'm expecting, and I'm expecting to see this work shown. How do I get x? Show me the work of how to get the vertex or the y, x and y together. And then this really isn't a step that needs to be shown other than to graph it. Okay? Hope after hearing the explanation and seeing 2 examples, you're getting the hang of this process right here. Negative b over 2a tells you which x value you're going to plug into the function. You don't have to plug in 5 or 6 times like we did picking x, finding y, picking x, find y. The x equals 2 is the x we're going to pick. Okay, we're going to pick x equals 2, find y equals 3 mathematically, and then we're going to use that as my vertex. Bam. And then the a number tells us to go down 2 over 1, and then symmetry tells me to go over there. And then in this problem, since c is a reasonable number and it fits on the graph, it's kind of helpful. Okay. All right, good luck. Without watching these videos, I don't see how there's any way you could have figured this out yourself. Like I said, this is the last brand new thing we're going to do. We'll do graphing Monday on Pearson, and then next week I will do review of important material, kind of like reviewing for a final, but reminder, there is no final. Okay, all we have left next week is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then a Monday. Okay. Hope everything's going all right. Use email to get a hold of me, and then if we need to, we can Zoom together. Bye.